Got Dylan, Lucas, Logan, Mike. How are you all? You can be unmuted right now if you want. Got Nate now.
Chat and say Jonathan too.
Nate, what are you doing for school?
Going to OTC.
Okay, cool. You signed up for Misha?
Yeah, I think I got everything good, but
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure.
Do you have any games? Are you on their arbiter?
Yeah, I'm on their arbiter, but there's like this part 2 test thing that I have to take, but I don't know if that's before or after assignments. I'm not sure. It's kind of confusing. There's like so many steps.
It's before. I forget exactly how that goes down, but ask them.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to get a jersey right now. I still haven't heard back yet.
That dumb jersey. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. So, Hi, Tanner. You're on here twice.
Yeah, my phone is weird. I don't know what I'm doing.
I thought you were just that excited for the season to start.
I'm not excited. Yeah, you're right.
Hi, Amanda. So everybody doesn't have video right now. Is that on purpose? I don't know if that was just one of the settings I said or not. So
I think it's a thing you set yourself.
Oh, okay. So we'll wait a couple more.
Off. I don't want anyone seeing me.
Yeah, right. We'll wait a couple more minutes to see if we pick up anybody else, and then of course I'll put this on YouTube. Actually, the one that I did last at the end of last season for those that were like for teenagers, I put on YouTube, but I don't think I ever shared the link. So I'll share both links with this video, so that those of you that are younger, 12 to 18 in high school, especially, you guys can kind of know a little bit of what's in my mind and what my goals are for you. In short, my goals are from 12 to 16 that I get you ready for the 11v11 field, so that when you turn 16 and I can use you past 7, that you're ready for middle school JV, middle school varsity, all of those games. And then from 16 to 18 is getting you ready to be prepared for the high school and even academy, youth academy levels, like Sporting Kansas City Academy, St. Louis Gallagher Academy, things like that. They keep adding lower level academy games down to U12 even. And so that's a great opportunity for you to travel with some local referees like Tim Wagner and Shane Calger and Dan Ortega and those guys, and get some experience at higher level things. So as you keep moving up, I give the assigner for those levels an updated list every year or every 6 months on who's ready for those games from our area. And so that's kind of in short my goals for those of you 12 to 16. It's really to get you ready for the 11v11 game, and then from 16 to 18 is get you ready for the high school and beyond games, so that when you graduate, you just don't drop out of refereeing. You see it as something that you can do through college and really pay for college. I've got my son with me here, Elijah. He's going to start next week when he turns 12. And we've already worked through a plan of how he can ref and pay for college and pay for his car and all of that by reffing. So it's possible. And with soccer booming more and more and more in America, those lower level opportunities that used to not be there the semi-professional, the high-level youth, the professional. Those opportunities are more and more frequent. This past weekend, 4 Springfield referees were on professional games, 2 in Tulsa and 2 in Kansas City. And so we're representing well in Springfield, and the opportunity is there in Springfield as well. So those of you that are younger, working your way up, that's the carrot that's out there. So that's there. So the main thing that I'm going to talk about today ultimately is clarity. Now that we've got a few more people on, I think it'd still be okay to kind of use voice, but you can put in the chat function. If you move your cursor over the screen, maybe some of you might be using devices or whatnot, but you can open up the chat. Describe a situation as I talk about kind of logistics, and then we'll come back to clarity. Describe a situation either when you're refereeing, when you're playing, or maybe you're a coach. I see Tom on here. When a referee was unclear, and that led to frustration from players or coaches or fans, and really all they had to do was be a little bit more clear. And I'm not talking like specific situations. John Smith did this in a game, but basic situations like the referee pointed one direction and the AR pointed another direction, or things like that, where the situation, the referee or the assistant referee was unclear. And that way we can talk through some of these common instances. That way, when you end up in your games, even if something happens where it might end up being unclear, to slow things down and to make the situation clearer. And so let me talk a little bit about schedule. I still don't have a schedule. They are still working on a schedule. The Missouri Youth Soccer Association changed from Got Soccer to Affinity as their registration software, and apparently teams are having a dandy of a time getting registered and fully registered. I don't know all the inner workings of it. All I know is that from Lake Country's perspective, they can't get teams into the system, and when you don't have teams in your scheduling system, you can't schedule teams. And so that's really all I know. Just like I've been saying through my emails and the list of people here, I feel confident that you guys keep up with the emails, or else you wouldn't be on here. Keep your availability up to date. If something happens and like all of a sudden you get a game on Saturday somewhere else, a high school game, or something happens and you're only good for half a day or whatever, please update that immediately, because you may not get pre-warning like you normally do that I'm assigning. I may go in and just assign it out with who has done the work to make themselves available. I'm expecting a small weekend, being the first weekend, and then being the fact that we have the schedule is so late and coming out. But nonetheless, we're going to have a quick turnaround to the weekend. So in order to, if we have a bunch of givebacks, it's going to delay the process and delay getting all that scheduled and everything ironed out. So if you do,
so we're only going to have team blocks whenever the schedule comes out, right? We can't.
You will not. You're correct. You won't have team blocks. Now, Nate, you shouldn't be playing, right?
No, I'm coaching a team.
Okay. All right. Like, wait a minute. Hold on here. You graduated, so but yes.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, we will. We will have to deal with those givebacks, and I'm going to be completely understanding of those givebacks because of the situation. This first week, when we're 6 weeks into the season, and somebody's saying you schedule me over a game, I scratch my head. But with this situation, we won't really have time to be able to do blocks unless you just happen to log on at the right time and see that the games are in there. And because it's the fall season, like you may go in and you may say, oh, look, I'll just put in, this is the same team from last season or my same team. Well, the fall season is the one that starts over, right? Everybody's moving up in age. This is when team names change, and et cetera. So your team name may not be the same this fall as it was in the spring. And so so if you've done that, it may not work when the schedule gets in. Okay. So Nate, are you coaching? What age group are you coaching?
U9 girls.
Okay. Yeah. So that will be in the system. So I just was making sure. I think you kind of helped with the mini minis last year. So those aren't in the system if they don't have any referees. You just have to block those out. And then plus Nate and anybody else that's listening that's a player or a coach, as you know, the system only blocks out that exact time that you're coaching or that exact time that you're playing. So if you have an 8 o'clock game or a 9:30 game, it blocks from 9:30 to the 85 minutes, the 40s plus halftime that game is. Now, I can see the fact that you've got a game block in there, and I usually work, that buffer zone manually. But if you just not want to worry about the team block and just go in and just go 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after and block that time, what you would do is make yourself available all day. Like if you're available all day except for that block, make yourself available all day. But say you have a 9:30 game and you want to be off from 9:30 to 11:30, make yourself available all day as green, and then go in and put a second block in that day, and then put that as unavailable from 9:30 to 11:30. It would ask you already have something on this day and blah, blah, blah. Are you sure? You just okay through all of that, and then you'll have the block on there, the green all day, but then with that time block in the middle. That's the same is true if you've, got a doctor's appointment in the middle of the day or whatever you may have, root canal, whatever, in the middle of the day that you want to block, but you can do the morning and the afternoon. That's the same way to be able to solve that and handle that in the system. Also, remember, again, these are the people that read the emails that's on this call. So I think you probably, for most part, you guys get this. But when you put a team block in, do not put an age group. Every league across the state that uses game officials for their assigning software, when you click that drop down and you see all those age group definitions, that's all the age groups across the state. That's not just our league. And so that populates in there. And so if you use the wrong age group designation, it will not work for your block, even if you've got the right team in. So just put no age group designation in there, and it will work because there's a unique name for every Lake Country team. And so because there's a unique name for every Lake Country team, it will just suck out that one team and block those. To double check to make sure that your team blocks are working, you go back to your availability calendar, and those blocks will be in your availability calendar when it's working correctly. So that's a double check. When you're done putting your block in, go back to my availability and check a game date and make sure that it's correct for my availability. Now, if you're blocking your brother or sister or, a team that you don't want to be off during that time, but you do not need to be working that team, that won't show up in the availability. And so you just know that it hasn't worked when I assign you that team and you're like, hey, so when I assign you something over a block that you think you've done, chances are pretty good it hasn't worked correctly because I wouldn't be able to see your name in order to put it on there. So if I block or if I assign you over a block, double check the block first and then email me and say, hey, you assigned me over a block. I fixed it, or it looks right. Can you look at it? That sort of thing. So so those are some of the logistics, reminders, et cetera, for going into this season. Any other logistical type things, availability? You can ask a scheduling question, but I probably don't know an answer right now. Feel free to type it in, or I'll give some silence for you to unmute and talk.
If I have practice till like 5 or 5:15 for high school, can I still make myself available at like 6 to get there for the games at 6 on the weekend, or not weekdays? Or do you want me to make myself unavailable?
Yes. I asked 30 minutes, and those of you on this call respect that and give me 30 minutes. I know that during the day, work and schedules get tight. Don't make yourself available if you're going to be walking up at 6.
Okay.
But if you could get there a solid 15, 20 minutes to give you some time to take a breather and connect with your team and be able to check the teams in and et cetera. It's a visible thing, right? It's a statement to the teams that you're getting there early and that you take this seriously. Obviously, things happen, and we all hit those situations where things mess up. Although MoDOT has taken care of one of our excuses, the train down Chestnut for us. But there are times that life happens. I would encourage you to notify your crew first, because if you notify me, that's where, taking a look at your crew and that sort of thing. Like if you're going to be coming from practice, you're going to be there at 5:45 or whatever for a 6 o'clock game, emailing your crew, be proactive there. That way they don't freak out if it's, 10 minutes before and you're not there. You can contact me. I will contact the crew, but that just cuts out the middleman. In a situation where we've got 5 minutes to work with, every few seconds count. So if you've got the crew's info, that's great. I know some of you under 18 don't have all of your contact information in there. That's fine. I get that. There's not always that opportunity, but if you've done that proactive work, then it makes it easier. If something goes wrong, then you can notify the crew immediately versus trying to go through me. Again, I'm happy to help, but as you know, I work games myself. I may be in my own pregame. I may be driving. Usually that's what it is. I'm driving somewhere, and that's when somebody calls and I can't solve an issue. So having that information helps take out that middleman and help you solve the problem quicker. So I want to do everything I can to give you the tools to be able to solve that problem as quick as possible. It's a good question, Tanner. So yes, straight up 30 minutes. Okay, we can fudge on that, but make sure you're there at least 15 minutes before. All right.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
So this isn't really like a reffing question, but are the fields going to be like in the same area that they've always been? Or I know Lake Country sometimes changes field positions and numbers. Is that going to be the case this year?
Correct. I don't think so. I think that everything stayed the same. I was up there for Elijah's practice this past week, and it looks like the small-sided fields at the Dome are still 8 and 9. They switched that this last year, and then 6 and 7 are going to be 11v11 to give 6 and 7 a break from being small-sided. As you know, they wear out differently when you play different styles of games. 10, 11, 12 are still going to be small-sided fields. That changed last year when they added lights to those fields so that we can have some later options for small-sided games, which for those of you under 16, that's a little bit of a bummer because that actually gives us more past 7 o'clock that you can't do. But it does help us get more throughout the week as well, although isn't always good because sometimes if we have 30 makeups in a night like we did at the end of spring, I have a hard time finding referees for all of those. But I think that they're going to be the same. It looks like they're going to be the same as the spring. They're rehabbing Cooper 2, which I think most of you would be glad of. So I don't know how much Cooper 2 will be used this fall, but that's not really a schedule or a field change. I think they're all going to be the same as they were in the spring.
Okay.
Yep. That's a good question because you especially when 10, 11, 12 started coming out, people were like, oh, where are those fields? They're old tin. Any other logistical stuff? All right, so let me talk a little bit more about clarity. In the chat there, you can throw in some situations that you've experienced that were unclear, either as a referee or assistant referee, or that you've seen as a player or a coach. I talked about one at the outset. what happens when the referee points white and the AR points yellow or what have you. That's an unclear situation. And what happens in unclear situations is that people start getting frustrated, right? If there's too many unclear situations back to back to back, fans and coaches and players get frustrated. And so it's our job to try and alleviate the frustrations that we can alleviate. So when the referee and the assistant referee points opposite directions, referee, it's on you, slow things down a little bit. All right, don't let them take that quick throw in so that a team can get set. Because if it's really yellow's ball and white goes to pick it up too, they're out of position, and they're out of position not because they made a mistake, it's because we made a mistake, right? And so we don't want a yellow to go down and score because white's out of position on our mistake. Now we've compounded the frustrating situation and the unclear situation into a goal, which is really frustrating, right, for the teams. So as the referee, tweet, hold up, hold the throw, my mistake, we're going yellow here, all right? And be clear, slow it down, let everybody get a breath, let everybody know what's going on, slow it down and be clear. People will be less frustrated. That frustration will rise because you've pointed the opposite direction. But if you slow it down and be clear, then they'll take the breath and they'll more likely go with it and be accepting of it. Same thing if you call a foul, and sometimes we have fouls where the players are faced opposite directions. You've probably faced this, right? The players are faced opposite directions to the goals that they're attacking, and you point the wrong direction because they're faced the opposite way on a foul, or it's the first foul of the second half and you have that brain fart and you point the wrong direction, what do? Tweet. Hold on, my mistake. All right, first foul of the second half, my bad. We're going this way, or we're going the other direction, right? So slow that situation down and make sure that you bring clarity to that situation. That's really what the players and coaches and fans are looking towards. Don't just signal and don't just do things for those in that immediate area. Do things for the coaches, do things for the fans as well. I see a habit too of not pointing quickly when you blow the whistle on a foul. Okay? Blow the whistle, point, right? And then I see this a lot too. You point and you point to the spot where the ball should be. For you futsal referees, that's what you do in futsal, right? That's not what you do in outdoor. You start getting people confused then. Blow the whistle, point the direction you're going to go so that everybody, fans, coaches, etc., know exactly the direction we're going. I see this a lot sitting on the sidelines. You blow the whistle, you assume it's very clear that the direction that it's going to be going, and so you don't end up pointing. And people start getting frustrated on the sidelines because they're thinking, well, which way is he going? Surely he's not going the other way, right? Surely she's got this right. Surely. And they start getting antsy and frustrated when all we needed to do was point, and it would have cleared up the situation, and there was no reason to get frustrated. Everybody knew what was going on. Another situation players gets frustrated on. No calls that there are a lot of contact on. Communicate what you see in a clear, succinct way. All right? Communicate what you see in a clear, succinct way. Some key phrases I use. I use fair, right? Fair challenge. I try not to use he got ball, she got ball, because that comes back to bite me later, right? You players have used this one. Well, I got the ball, ref. Well, yeah, you also, broke their ankle, right? So try to not use they got ball. Use fair challenge. Or If it's a little knock, if it's what we call trifling situation, it's not really advantage. It's not something you need to call a foul on. Just say, keep going. You got it. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. That way the players know, okay, they saw something was there, but let's just keep flowing with this. Let's just keep going. All right. Of course, the advantage, you utilize either the two-hand or the one-hand signal, and you yell advantage. You let the players know what's going on. If you are waiting to see what happens with advantage, you can tell the player, hold on, let's see. Things like that. That way the player doesn't get frustrated that he thinks or she thinks that you missed something, and you're being clear with them. I've seen something happen. Let's see what ends up happening, right? Early on in the game. Now, I'm going to sound like I'm contradicting myself. As you move up levels to higher levels, early on in the game, it is best to, on simple, easy fouls, give a quick tweet. All right, all of your communication is clarity. If it's a simple foul, an easy foul, just a little knock in the ankle, and you're just trying to stamp that out early, you blow the whistle real quick, tweet, and you point. You look the person in the eye, you point, and you go about your business. You don't need to explain yourself. That's clear enough, right? Player knows that they kicked in the ankle. You pointed the direction. We go about our business. If they start to chatter at you, usually early on in a game, players are just looking to see if you're going to be willing to debate with them. Don't be willing to debate. Just simply point, look at them, and move on. Don't be rude about it. Don't be disrespectful, but just move on. They're going to quickly realize they're not going to bait you into a debate. Now, this is more your high school level type of thing, or your 15s, that sort of thing. This is as we move up. Don't be willing to debate with people, all right? You will soon find out who are your level heads you can talk to during the game, and those that you can't really talk to, they're just going to complain about everything or give something about everything, and you're just going to, point, move on, and go about your business. See, that is clarity enough. When it's a simple little foul, you blow your whistle, and you point, and you move on. That is clarity enough. Okay? If it's a confusing situation, if you've got a kind of a weird little foul that you've called, okay, you call it, you look at him. When he kind of looks at you like, what on earth just happened? Give him a quick explanation, right? You tripped him. There was a push there. The pull was first, all right? You're acknowledging, yes, he did something to you, but you pulled him first. Things like that to help clarity, help build clarity in communication. When it's early in the game, this is something I see too that builds frustration. Early in the game, it's a simple little foul, right? It's a little push. It's a little knock in the ankle, but you give a big, huge yellow card-like whistle that you go, tweet! That becomes unclear to the players too, right? Because you're whistling a yellow card whistle for a simple nothing foul. Make sure your whistles match the fouls as well. Bring clarity to that situation. Offside situations, ARs. This is where confidence comes into effect. Yes, you get confidence with experience. As you do more games, see more situations, you get more confidence. When you decide to go up with that offside flag, go up with it. All right? I've seen ARs go up, kind of like this, come back down, and then up again. The fans that see that, that's blood to sharks, right? That signals to them that you're not confident, that you don't know what's happening, that they might know more than you. All right? Go up. Give that flag. Hold that flag. You don't have communication devices. You got to hold that flag and be clear until the referee sees you. Also, yell the referee's name. Logan, offside, Logan. You know, the player or the fans are probably already yelling. Go ahead, yell the referee's name. Referee, offside, that sort of thing. It was kind of a day gone by where you don't say anything, you just pop the flag, that sort of thing. Well, that's a day gone by. Speak up. Let them know. A ball in and out. Go up clearly with that flag, and then go the direction or a corner kick. That sort of thing. Be confident with it. Also, one thing that helps clarity and confidence is positioning. Being in the right position at the right time. That helps you bring clarity because you're right there and you can speak to the situation. When the players look at you confused with confused looks on their faces, then you can speak to them. It went out, or this happened, that happened, you did this, that sort of thing. Now, let's go down to the 4v4 fields. There's going to be a lot of unclarity at that level. The fall is the new cycle, right? And so this is when we have new players coming in and they're going up in age and that sort of thing. The players, it's going to be clear that green kicked the ball out, but blue looks at you like, what do I do next? All right. Those of you that have done that level and started off that level, I've told you, you're half coach, you're half referee. You're a coach of the laws of the game at that level. And so instead of just pointing, you're talking to them all the time. Blue, it's your ball. Green, it's your ball. You know, talk to them until you feel comfortable that they know exactly what's going on. Green, it's a corner kick. You put the ball here. Help those coaches out because they can't be out on the field anymore. So help those coaches out, be able to manage those players. You're not doing tactics. You're not teaching them how to pass. You're not doing that. But you're teaching them the laws of the game, what a throw-in is, what a corner kick is, what a goal kick is. 4v4 fields, have them pull that ball up off of the goal line so that they have a sporting chance to get it out of their net area, okay? You're teaching them what trips and pushes are. Hey, buddy, you can't play with your arms up like that, okay? You got to keep your arms down. Hey, Sally, you can't kick the opponent's shins, okay? You got to kick the ball, that sort of thing. So you're communicating all the time. You're being that coach, referee at that level. And as you move up, that coach aspect decreases. But still, even at that build-out line, it's a new season, fall season. The U9 players are not used to the build-out line. That's confusing. Work with them. Teach them what that means. You know, be patient with them. Bring clarity to this confusing situation. They can barely kick the ball themselves as far as they need to get things done at that age group at this point in time in their life. Help alleviate that confusion. View yourself as a coach there. Communicate with them with confidence and clarity and respect, and let them enjoy the game because you're teaching them how to play the game by the laws of the game. Obviously, some of those high-level Division I teams, when we have Division I and Division II and like U9 and U10, they're competent. They know what's going on, but that's, you know, that right now that might be 3 teams in an age group of 15 to 20. So know that you're going to have to work with those teams when you're on those age groups as well. Any other situations that you can remember that you're like, man, yeah, we had this unclear situation. We got about 5 minutes left, so as well. So my challenge to you, and it's my plan to talk about clarity all throughout the season. That's going to be our focus word. It's my challenge to you. Think about clarity as you're going into the game. How can I be clear with these players here at the 4v4, at the build-out line 7v7, at the U11, U12 age group, the biggest of the small-sided fields? You know, that's where they're getting ready to go to the 11v11s. You know, they need less of a coach and more of a referee, but there's still going to be those moments that you're going to need to talk them through it. And those of you on this call, you're experienced enough. It doesn't take you long to realize what teams need the help through and what teams don't. In fact, you may be able to see it in warm-ups, which teams are going to need help and which teams aren't. And then as you get to the 11v11 fields, middle school is going to be different than U13, U14, U15. Those sorts of things. And the communication you give to the high school girls that we have in the fall is going to be different than what you give at a younger age group. You're going to let those players play more without interjecting as much. But when you need to, you've got to be able to step up and communicate clearly to alleviate that frustration. That way they're only getting frustrated at things that are out of your control. All right, that are out of your control. So you sense the tension start to rise. You think, wait a minute, what might not have been clear in the last few minutes? All right, and then try to work on that throughout the next 5 minutes to bring some clarity to the match so that the frustrations will come down. I think if you think of it in this way, I think there's going to be some things that kind of click for you in some of these early games for you. To be able to bring the frustration level down so that people can be less frustrated. Again, give signals, give directions, give things like that, communication to not just the players in that immediate area, but do it for the coaches and for the fans and for everybody. Leave that offside flag up a little bit longer after the referee blows his whistle. Do it. It's called the camera effect. Do it for the camera. Let the camera see what you have called. There's cameras everywhere now, not just on professional games, but on the youth games as well. Let them be clear about what you are doing and what you are calling. And that takes slowing down, taking a deep breath, being more purposeful in your communication and in your signals. Hold that foul signal a little bit longer than what you've been doing in the past to bring just a little bit more clarity. I think you'll see the frustration level decrease. It won't be removed, but the part that you can do, you will be able to bring that frustration level down. Think about that as you're going into your matches. Clarity. If you see frustration levels rise, think what maybe has happened recently that hasn't been clear. Pinpoint something. And then in the next 5 minutes, try to rectify that. Don't make up for a call, but try to speak more clearly and communicate more clearly through 4 levels of communication. You do it with your voice. You do it with your body language. You do it with your whistle. And you do it with cards at last resort. Those are the 4 levels of communication. So I thank you all for joining us. Are there any final questions or anything? I've got 2.5 minutes.
So is it a good idea, like, say your AR calls something and you're not sure what they call, go over and talk to them for a few minutes and give game time to cool down a little bit before you make a call, especially if it's in the peak area or something?
Correct. And the higher the stakes on the call, the more you need to make sure you know what's going on. All right. We don't want this every 5 minutes, right? We don't need that powwow every 5 minutes, but a weird situation that happens and you're not quite sure, yes, do that. We had this in a professional game this past week, my professional game this past weekend. A weird throw-in happened. I didn't see it, but the referee called it a foul throw, and everybody was confused. And I needed to slow him down and go, wait a minute, hold on. And we had communication devices say, wait a minute, hold on, what just happened, and slow it all down so that clarity could come in. So, yes, that would be a wise thing. The more imminent a goal in that situation, the more important that is.
All right.
Yeah, did that answer?
Yeah, that was the answer.
All right. Yeah. Slow it down. If you have to have a powwow, do it. Just don't do it every 5 minutes. So I think we're about ready to get shut off. Thanks for participating. Thanks for taking out your time. I'm looking forward to this season, and I look forward to getting a schedule so I can get you games this season. So don't know when it will be. It'll be soon. It has to be soon. Thanks for your time. I'm signing out. I'll put this on YouTube and get a link out of the last 2 videos as well. Thanks, guys.